Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hey, Theory class. Welcome to Theory in Counseling. This is your meat and potatoes class. What do you mean, Professor Cook? Meat and potatoes class. This is the class that you would need all the things that you do in this class for your career in counseling, whether you're in marriage or family or clinical mental health. Everything that you do in this class will be things that you can implement inside your real world application. So listen, as we do a couple of things in this class, there are two important presentations that you need to really pay attention to. Well, actually three, but the second one is a two-part one. So the first one is the client role model um, presentation. So the client role model presentation is you and your group member. I've already divided you all in your groups. You can go to groups and you can see what group you're in. Group one is the only group that has three members. Everybody else has two members. Things that you need to know. One, if your partner does not communicate with you, if you have attempted to email, multiple times, at least three times. Give them three times. If you've attempted to email them three times and there's no response, please reach out to me so that I can see what's going on with your particular partner. There may be something going on that they don't want to share with you, or they've already told me, and then I can make the adjustments as needed. Okay. Secondly, when you're doing your presentation, the first one is the introduction presentation, right? You're introducing your client. It is not a TED talk, y'all. So I don't want to know about your hobbies. I don't want to know about how you got to Texas if you're not from Texas. That's not relevant unless it's relevant to the reason why you're seeking counseling. The whole purpose of that client introduction is to give a synopsis about the client that you'll be working with. And you can create a name. I want that name to be consistent because that will be the same name that you use when you do your mock client counselor role playing exercise. So remember what you say, right? Don't read from the paper. If you need the paper as a guide, that's great to kind of highlight what you need to hit in your name and your diagnosis or why you're seeking counseling, that's fine. But what I want you to always make sure is that you feel as genuine in your character so that when it's time for the client role playing exercise, it's easy for you all to be able to talk to each other because you've already introduced that person in this particular assignment. Okay? So what did I say? I said, this is not a TED Talk. Your client intro should be the client's name, their age, sexual orientation should be in place. If there's some things that why they're seeking counseling, so the client should be saying why you should be explaining why the client is seeking counseling, right? And you can ask them these questions, right? It should be an interview for us to get an introduction to your client. So it should be an interview of your client. We don't want to know about if they have bad habits, how many kids they have, unless that is related to why they're seeking counseling. So, for instance, if your client says, "Hey, I'm seeking counseling because my husband of 14 years is not helping me with our three kids who do such and such, such and such." Okay, that's awesome because that's helping us understand why they're feeling overwhelmed or depressed or anxious or all the things, okay? So remember, 5 minutes per person is all you need. No more, no less. 5 minutes to give us a synopsis of your client. Clients, remember your names and your issues because that's the same name and issue you will talk about doing your role playing exercise. Okay? So let's talk about the role playing exercise. The role playing exercise equates to if you are a group of two, 30 minutes total between the two of you. So each person will do 15 minutes as the counselor, 15 minutes as a counselor each. But in totality, it will equate to a 30-minute presentation. Okay, so let me repeat that. You're going to do it together, which will equate 30 minutes, 15 minutes each which will equate to a 30-minute presentation. You will need to do that in Zoom, or you can do it in Studio and upload it to YouTube. Either way it goes, you all, both group members, should submit the same link for your 30-minute presentation. So that's part one of the role playing presentation, counseling presentation. Okay, that's part one. Part two is you doing your individual part. Your individual part is a six-part slideshow presentation where you discuss the client again, the summary of the session, then you discuss your techniques, then you discuss your do's and your don'ts in the techniques, and you can take snippets of your 15-minute session, or you can say at 10 minutes and 22 seconds, I demonstrated X. Okay. So you'll define what your technique is, what your counseling therapeutic approach is. Then you'll talk about the techniques of that approach that you use in the session, and you'll get a summarization of the client in totality. Okay. 6 slides. That presentation, your individual presentation, should not be more than 10 minutes. Okay. No more than 10 minutes. So 6 slides with your summarization of the session, and you narrating that summarization. You can give little snippets of the session if you like, in order to take up some of your 10 minutes, but that presentation should only be 10 minutes. That too needs to be, either you do a PowerPoint narrative. However, doing a PowerPoint narrative is going to be hard if you're using snippets from your YouTube presentation. Okay, if you're using from YouTube video, I would suggest you doing it in Zoom with your shared screen, and then uploading everything to YouTube so everything can flow, and there's not a click and a pause and a click and a pause to waste any of your 10 minutes. Okay. If you need help, we'll discuss it a little bit more in our live counseling, in our live class session that'll be taking place on July the 7th at 6:30. I had to look at my paper. July the 7th at 6:30. It will not be recorded. This is not mandatory, but it is suggested that you do come. It may be recorded so you all can see the presentation of what I'm talking about when it comes to how to insert that to make it flow when you're doing a YouTube snippet of a session. Okay, so July 7th at 6:30 is our live class discussion. It is not mandatory, but it's heavily suggested that you make time to be there. Okay. If there are any more questions, those two projects are super, super important. There are some other announcements that I'll put in place, but if you have anything else that you have questions about, please feel free to reach out. My information will be listed below this video. Y'all have a good one. Blessings. Bye.